folks, Salty Seaman here. I want to come talk to you today a little bit, give you a side update real quick, and then we'll get to our main topic. Throughout the year, I'm in school for a film major. I spend a lot of time throughout the last year staring at a Premiere editing screen, both for this channel and a lot for school. And by the end of the year, yeah, I was, I kind of pushed some stuff near the end of this last semester for the channel to my break because I was like, okay, I just can't do this because it was senior semester final there at the end of November, early December. So I focused all my energy on that. Came back, started on threw out a quick Tales from the Fleet. Started on the Last Castle. It's probably working on it today. It's sitting in a premiere as we speak. But yeah, after finals were over, I couldn't find myself really to look at a premiere screen or Adobe, or I had to look at Microsoft Word for my work. But things I didn't want to look at for a while. Just felt a little burnt out staring at my computer monitor. So yeah, just mental recovery. So I just spent the last few weeks, about last 3 weeks of my break. They got GSU is great. It's a 4 week break between just over 4 weeks actually between the fall and spring break or fall and spring semester. So yeah, I have 1 week left here. I got contractors in the house, so I'm recording this before they get here before the noise starts. But yeah, I'm getting back into it. I feel refreshed. I think I needed a break from the screen. Refresh, recharge my batteries. Think about what I want to do more with this channel. Should I incorporate? Should I go really just focus on movies and entertainment? That seems to be one of the more popular things. Should I try to incorporate more news and happenings around military and retirees, veterans? Yeah, I don't know because those topics are hit and miss. Sometimes they'll really blow up, and sometimes no one seems to care. But right now I'm leaning towards more pop culture stuff. I think maybe that's my niche. There's plenty of people talking about other aspects of the military. And of course, the longer I'm out, which is now 3 years, the more my information gets less relevant, and it takes a lot of effort to keep up with the current going ons when they don't affect you. But I think I do a pretty good job, and I'm a retiree, so it's just always going to be a part of me. But saying that, I know as you get older, memories start to fade. I seem to have a real snapjaw memories for my early years. Anyone who's listened to my Tales from the Fleet, but if you know me recently, trying to remember something from 2 months ago, I can't tell you. I can't remember shit anymore. So since it's been 3 years, and the longer it goes, the more details I'm going to forget, I figured now is the time to lay down about my retirement instead of waiting till chronologically, which might take me another 7, 8 years to get to. And that's being really conservative, considering I'm still in my first year on my first ship. So 20 years down the line, it might take a while. So let's get it out of the way right now. And I will also count as tips for retiring from overseas. AKA, do not do what the Salty Seaman did. So I got out of the Navy out of Iwakuni, Japan. I've been working at that AFN station there as the operations manager and then the production manager as I was going out the door. That's kind of where I got the bug to get into video editing and producing my own stuff, and YouTube just came along. That's when I was doing production. That's when it gave me back the bug for this, and I started this channel. And it's one of those things when you're overseas, you have to come back to the state, even if you're staying overseas, which a lot of people did. They're lifelongers, especially in Japan. You get a lot of lifelong Japanophiles. That's where their family and their next careers there. They stay, but I believe the Marines went down to San Diego, and we checked out in Bangor, Washington. That's right, Washington, not Maine. A lot of people ask me why they flew me to Maine. I was like, it's not different. Bangor. It's the sub base is near Bremerton, up there. The Seattle SeaTac Navy family of bases. Kind of forgotten about, but that is the separations point for the West Coast and a separations point for uh, the Pacific Northwest, and all of Asia Pacific. I believe. I don't know if Hawaii fall. I think Hawaiians have to go there too, if I remember. But leading up to it, I did all the right things. I think preparing a year out. I submitted my request for Fleet Reserve on time. Usually, people about to retire have no problems remembering to get their deadlines for the paperwork because delays suck. And so yeah, all that went swimmingly. I did and I'm not going to look up what they call the transition classes anymore. We called it TAPS pretty much the whole time I was in. So TAPS class. A lot of people like to do it a year out, and that's cool if that's like part of your plan and you're really looking for that. Especially if you're like really job hunting far ahead of time, depending on what skills you're going to use outside. For me though, I find to keep it fresh in my head. Ended up doing about 2 months out, a little closer than I wanted to, but they only do the class for retirees every 2 months in Iwakuni, or they did back in 2015. So I think the one for August I got pushed out of for work obligations. I don't remember exactly what. But I ended up taking the October class, and I strung it together with two other classes, other transition classes that happened to be taught the same month. It's all back to back to back. So they were like 3-day classes, like the bootstrap class and the electronic. I think there's like a resume specialty class. But I can't remember, whatever I took. You can see how well it left an impression on me. But yeah, I took basically the month of October off, and I was in the office about 4 days, so that worked out pretty sweet. I think there was some last minute packing hullabaloo, but that happens. But the real problem came with my days and what I was told at PSD versus what actually happened at TPU Bangor. Now, when you leave the military, you have you usually have usually a long set of days to burn off. Like a lot of people save up just their regular leave. You can have, I think, up to 60 days, and then you can chain that with other things. I think you can even have more when you're retiring, other than the 60. I think you can go over. But I never got that close. I was never a leave hoarder, which you end up finding a lot of people are, especially the more senior you get. I don't know why that's such a popular practice, or if it's like showing your sacrifice to the command or whatever. But I mean, those days exist for a reason. Talk about caring for your mental health. I was always a big believer in using my leave, and even then, I had hoped to get about 40 days at least. Even though I said I was, but my dad died the year before that, and ended up burning off a lot more days than I expected. And I ended up having like 21 days of just straight leave left. So not a lot, but again, we chain them together. There's two TADs they put you on, which is basically 20 free leave days, 10 days for job hunting, 10 days for house hunting. At least that's what retirees get. I think everyone gets it. I'm not sure. I'd have to look. But I know for fact retirees, get that. That's 20 days free leave basically. So I had 40 days, but plenty of time in reality. Getting the main part of that is like basically being retired, but getting paid full active duty, your full active duty paycheck for like the next 2-3 months. Which some people finagle 3 months pretty easy. It's pretty nice. Trust me. But it didn't work out for me that way. I lost because of emergency leave. I ended up losing a lot of that cushion. That's okay. I said I never was a big leave guy anyway. Like saving up giant bulks of it. So part of checking out PSD has to configure like when you should fly out, when your family should fly out to Bangor, or in my case, I was to Bangor. My family, of course, went to my home of destination, Georgia. And you work out those details. Like my wife and kid and cat stayed in a B&B for a lot longer than we expected. Well, not early. We had a place up to move into February, but without me, I should say. And they calculate the days as okay. We expect checkout to take X amount of time, and so they have to configure like here's what here's the projected time you're going to have to spend there in your processing, checking out. Here's how many days of leave you have. Here's your house hunting, job hunting. whatever else you might manage to sneak in there, and then they give you a flight date based on that. Well, my guy completely fucked it up because he had the wrong information, or at least very outdated information, and I don't think he could count very well. We'll just add that on to PS1. PS1, whoever you are, fuck you. Somehow you'd be listening to this. You fucked me pretty hard. And while I still have anger about it when I think about it, which, is lessening as it's been 3 years, fuck you, dude. So here's a breakdown of what exactly happened. So my only guess is PS1 had some really outdated information about how things were working in Bremerton. Like maybe a major regime change came in, like when the new CO came in or something, or a new, Master Chief or whoever came in and like started running it like it probably should be run. But his idea was, it's like, yeah, it's like it's gonna take you like 3 days, and then it's gonna fly you home. It's like, well, there's a even I'm former yeoman. I'm pretty privy to how these things work. I'm like, well, that probably gonna leave if you're gonna fly me out on the second, and I'm done like say by the latest on the 6th. Wow, yeah, that was also incorrect, but we'll get to it. That leaves me a gap of days between my leave and my TAD. That 40 days of like almost like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Whatever it was, but he says like, dude, yeah, if it's a thing, they'll just cut you no cost to the nearest recruiting station. They don't want you hanging around there. They got people to see. They'll just cut you your tickets and blah blah blah, and your DD-214. You don't know, DD-214 is your one-stop shopping discharge retirement piece of paper. Lists all your major accomplishments, what you did, blah blah blah. So they're like, okay, so I have no reason to just not take his word for it. I mean, I've definitely seen situations like that. It's absolutely legal to cut someone no cost TAD orders to, some recruiting station, and then you just stop by and say, hey, by the way, I have no cost orders here for the next week, but I'm not showing up. I'll call in a muster, okay? Or even that, and the amount of time they're like, enjoy your retirement, chief, first class, whoever you are, and they wave you off. Maybe call once every couple of days. It's like, get you alive? Yep, all right, because they have to muster you, and then that's where we draw the problem here. So I'm going in there thinking, okay, my family flew out a couple days before me. I'm in the Navy Lodge alone. For a couple days, and I fly to Bangor. I get in and check in, and I show my package, and I said, yeah, and I had a retirement ceremony set up for I was going to do on the Air Force Base in Marietta, Georgia. So like I expected to be there like almost 2 weeks to help plan in person, set up stuff, whatever. And the first thing they look at my paperwork is like, oh no, you have a gap here. And I was getting out. The 29th would be my last official day. February 29th would be my last official day in the Navy. It always ends at the end of the month. You start your retirement on the clock on the next month. So you only end up being gapped between retirement pay and active duty pay by a month. And it's like all your final pay comes out on like would be for me was on March 1st. That makes sense. So you really don't miss anything other than your paycheck's cut in half and no benefits. But yeah, it just kind of continues, which is nice, which is why they ended on the end of the month. Whatever your month of joining was might have been adjusted to February 96 because I had a gap in service. But anyway, so for people who were thinking all the way back to my original Tales from the Fleet and know I joined September 95, there's a reason for that. It ended up being February 96. Anyway, so they're like, yeah, you got to stay here until, this is the earliest possible day. Like, oh no, wait, that's a Saturday. So they're not going to cut you tickets that day or give you your DD-214. And that Monday is, that's Martin Luther King. You can't, no one's going to be open. So you're going to have to fly out 3 days past what was my last official day on a Tuesday. And I was like, what the fuck? So that was just like really pushing. This was like a couple days pushing up against my retirement. Like this was like I think it gave me like Yeah, 3 days. I think the retirement was that Friday, so that gave me 3 days in town. So it was like, what the fuck? So I'm despondent. I'm jet lagged. I go up. They give me my room, and I'm coming from a base of Marines, so E6 are staff NCO there. I'm used to getting treated like a staff NCO. Now I'm back in the Navy. Blue shirts is blue shirts, and my ass gets stuck in a 4-man fucking room in the barracks. And I know this is some white wine and bullshit, but I was an old man at this point, 39 years old. I was accustomed to a way of living, okay? Been 3 years since I've been on a ship. I went home every night, other than every other month when I was base CDO and I slept on a cot in the CDO office. Other than that, I went home every night. So I was like, okay, I got to stay in some barracks, and I'm thinking at worst, E6s, maybe E5s and E6s stayed in like 2-man rooms. Well, they were rebuilding as we were there. They were redoing, and they were making them more, they were expanding them and making them, 2 bedrooms by the old style 4, which is like seriously old. Like I have not, that's the first time I'd seen 4-man barracks in a very, very long time. Just happens that Bangor was stuck with them. So, and it's all like, it wasn't like I hated them or anything, but it's 1 bathroom, it's 1 shower, 1 toilet, 4 dudes. And like I said, they were all like E4s and E3s. Like it was, they're stuck here with some weird E6 from Iwakuni place. Even though they were in Japan, they'd never heard of it. I don't know. And I was just like, and I was almost like, I was just going to go stay in Navy Lodge. I was just like, fuck this. At some point I was just going to move, maybe like the last week or so, because I was just like, you know what? I'm going to spend the money, get my own place, and then just maintain my room over here. But eventually you get used to it, and I just didn't want to waste the money because I was already I rented a rental car the entire time, so I was refusing to be like hobbled, because a lot of people don't do that, and they're just kind of hobbled by shuttle buses and cabs and whatnot. But I was like, no, it was totally worth my time to rent that car. But in the meantime, yeah, I tried everything. I asked about the no cost TAD to like a recruiting station. They're like, no, we can't. We're not, that is basically, we're dumping the muster off to these guys. And then when something happens to you, they always plead the fifth and go, hey, this is bullshit TAD orders. It's not our problem. Apparently these things have happened. People have gotten home, gotten in trouble, and, someone's cracked down on it. And they said, no, this is, once we will, because basically what happens is you are, I think they still have you you're still attached to them through the house hunting and job hunting TAD. Once you're on leave, you're considered detached and final leave, and then you're not mustered to anybody. I believe that's how it works. So there's a chain of custody break there if you go no cost and go to recruiting. And I think something had happened there. Someone went home, 2 weeks and got in a car accident or got arrested. Pretty sure someone got arrested. I remember hearing a similar story about this. If I kind of sort of recall, 20 years later came back and some chief got in a fight with his rival over his then girlfriend, now wife, and they reignited the rivalry. And he got arrested, and there was a big I believe that was the story I heard. One of the reasons why, anyway. Also, they drug test you like as soon as you walk in the door. And then you're subject to them the rest of the time you're there, which, I don't care personally because I wasn't going to risk, it was like, I get it. Like if you're dumb enough to risk it your last 2 weeks in, you deserve to get your benefits fucked with. And stories like some master chief got caught fucking smoking weed because this is a legal state. Like it just happened. Somebody got caught smoking weed, and he was a master chief retiring. And I'm guessing he fought and kept his bennies being an E9, but still, I was like, okay, that's pretty stupid. But at the same time, it's like wow, it's all this really high end. It was a lot of testing, and it's like almost like they're trying to catch a lot of people so they don't have to give them benefits when they get out. I don't know. It felt kind of shitty, regardless of whether I was going to get caught doing it or not, because I wasn't. So it's not all bad. I I met up with some friends. I'd known throughout the Navy that were stationed there. One friend was retired. A couple of friends from outside the Navy that lived there. The guy who designed my logo, my friend Matt Kufalt. Kufalt. My friend Rose. Two people I know from the Transformer fandom. My friend Stacy I knew from the Stennis. I don't think I ever hung out with my friend Homer from Lemoore, unfortunately. But I think I ran into the now chief was chief then to Adam Vernon. I'd known him since since A school. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It wasn't and they didn't we didn't do shit. Okay, for the most part, we did not do shit. It was basically muster twice a day and do not be seen during the day. Like you can't hang out. You could hang out in your room or something, and they're very meticulous about keeping your room squared away and don't like leave your like people like and I did it once leave your medical records out. I was looking through them and at lunch sometime or something and forgot them, and someone came and inspected after lunch. I got a talking to, but okay, whatever. A couple times like we did some, there was like little cleaning tasks and I got pulled a couple times, but no big deals. Like there were second classes and another first class. Just became your time. But they usually try to, they started from the bottom up as a rule. But the one that did piss me off, and it was this MA2, just kind of a cocky bastard, and definitely just kind of got a little too positionally powerful, and just wasn't paying minding his p's and q's, and I let him have it. I told his chief, and I left a comment for the that the CO of the barracks reads, how was your stay, blah blah blah, and this guy, and it was just just one of those things to go out of the Navy on. He's like I said, E5 MA2. And he needs people to do a couple of tasks. One of them was vacuuming out the elevator. One person's got to vacuum, one guy's got to hold the door open because you couldn't press a button to keep the door open. And he's like, Smith, Owens, you're cleaning the you're vacuuming. And I was like, excuse me? Like, oh, MC1 Owens, you're vacuuming. He's like, oh, I am. Okay. I said, we'll talk after this. He said, okay. And I said, and I wasn't mean or anything. I never was a yeller for the most part. If you got me yelling, you fucked up, son. But yeah, it was disrespectful. It's like, yeah, just a reminder here. I know you have positional authority in this building, and everyone sitting around here is just a blank face to you. But some people here not only match your rank, but outrank you, and you should probably take time to remember that before you're barking out orders calling senior people by their last name. You capiche? And he's like, yes, yes, MC1. I was like, cool. I went and told his chief as a proper first class should, and I put it on my checkout card. So, well, watch that motherfucker make chief. Fucking MAs. Anyway, so yeah, that was my last day of working. It was a Friday, so yeah, it wasn't the work I mind. I don't care. Yes, we spent 20 minutes vacuuming a couple of vacuuming an elevator out. Don't care about the work. Just show a little respect, and those kids today, blah blah blah. Yeah, some of those people are just jack-offs. So as I said, I could not. That was my last working day. Saturday, my flight should have been. I should have been free and clear to go on Saturday, but PSD just doesn't work on weekdays because it's all civilian now, and that's what happens when you have a civilian outfit. You don't have a duty guy on a fucking Saturday. Another rant for another day, but this is stupid. There should have been my day in the early days. Yeah, there was a PN or a YN at PSD who was the duty guy, and he could fly guys out and cut tickets and everything. And some PSD and a lot of PSDs I saw do that for a long time. I don't know why Bangor was so screwed up, but and again the holiday was Martin Luther King, so I ended up, even despite I didn't have that many leave days, they had to sell me. I was forced to sell like 2 back because I was over the day over 3. I'd sell 2 or 3 days back. I think it was 2, which was like $100 on my last paycheck or something stupid like that. I would have rather had the 2 days, but anyway. So Tuesday comes around, I go to pick up my, I've done my DET 14 Friday. They're giving me the final copy, my tickets, my final package, blah blah blah. I had all my records. I had been checked out medically everywhere else. I had 2 weeks to friggin' do it. I mean, I had been cleared for over a week basically at this point. And the security drill goes down. Just fine. I was in the hallway waiting to be seen. And yeah, they do a security drill on the PSD building. Lasts over an hour. People are lost. The word doesn't get back that drill's over. So it adds 20 minutes to the drill, just getting people out of offices and back to the work. Luckily, my flight wasn't until like 1 o'clock and I had the rental car. I wasn't beholden to a shuttle bus. I was just like, oh my God, please, 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 Navy, stop fucking me. I'm trying to get out the goddamn door. And so, yeah, I flew out. And a little coda to the story. I'll wrap it up. I'm going long here. Yeah, the like I said, my retirement was on Dobbins Air Force Base. I've been talking to the Navy detachment, getting it set up. I had the gym. I had the equipment. I'd seen it the day before. Boom, that Friday there's a threat of snow. Air Force Base closes down. I get a message, dude, you're canceled. You're essential personnel only. You can't bring civilians on. Blah blah blah. Just can't open the gym. Threat of snow. This. Now, the screwed up part about this is it's an Air Force base, but all my non-Navy friends are like in their heads after it all happened, just think it's a Navy base, and they give me shit about the Navy not being able to handle snow. The Navy, the Navy will never be able to have a fight in Russia because apparently we don't handle snow. And I'm like, it was a fucking Air Force base. The Navy, never seen a Navy base shut down for that bullshit. But or at least one that was operational. Like this is an air base. Like what if you have to scramble jets? Shit. I mean, I think Millington maybe, but Millington has nothing. There's a bunch of office buildings. So anyway, so we ended up moving the thing to a local hotel. So a bunch of my friends were staying. My mom came in. I had friends flying from New York. My old department head was my retirement officer from. He drove down from New York as well. Friends came from all over. It ended up being really cool. We set it up in like a conference room last minute, and I loved it. I thought it was way better than elsewhere actually. So that is my retirement story. Those are things to avoid. Do the math yourself when you're counting up your days. Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into in TPU. E7 and above, you'll have a BOQ room, so if you're cool there. Everyone else, just be wary. So not too bad. Bangor, I can speak for, not too bad. They do have their shit together, but you are still in the Navy, and keep yourself professional to the last minute. They say be gone, be gone. They say keep your room clean, keep your room clean. I would recommend within the do taps within the last 6 months. Don't do that a year out. It's weird to me, but if that's what works for you, that's what works for you. And that's all I got. That is all for the Salty Seaman. I'm going to go work on the last castle. Peace, bitches.